Jade Druid against Highlander Priest can be very volatile depending on how the Priest draws. And then he has the Jade Druid mirror, so that was a big win for FrOzen.
Well, speaking of volatile, here we are in the Tempo Rogue versus Highlander Priest matchup. We have seen some powerful starts featuring Keleseth's Shadow Step throughout the weekend, as well as some clearly very powerful Highlander Priest games. But FrOzen is playing a bit different version of Highlander Priest. As we see from Netherspite Historian in his hand, his version has some dragons.
Draws the chain in the opening hand, the most important card off the mulligan. So you have early game play, Shadow Rebrand doing the second most.
The Cleric is very good here too. Against Tempo Rogue, it can give you a tool that can help deny your opponent's early game aggression.
Wow.
And give you the ability to potentially draw some extra cards. And FrOzen to play on turn 1.
Get that mulligan from Tom. Keeps Cobalt Scalebane and Vilespine Slayer, 2 cards that are very powerful for mid-game tempo, but almost concedes the fact that he has a very low chance of getting any kind of board dominance early on.
And we see here, speaking of board dominance early on, the Northshire Cleric is really preventing Tom from being able to safely play the Swashbuckler. He'd love to play Swashbuckler, get patches out of his deck and go on the offense, but if he does, that Cleric will just start feeding FrOzen cards as he heals them.
That's right, patches is a liability.
No dragon drawn for FrOzen, so the Historian is waiting for some new history to be made.
That's right. Tom, of course, waiting for some way to snipe that Northshire Cleric very easily. But at the same time, we've seen Temple Rogues take it very slow against the Highlander Priest, primarily because if they're so happy to take the board early and they overextend and Priest clears it once or twice, then Rogue has no more cards. And that's where cards like Evil Minstrel really come into play.
Actually, I had a chance to talk to FrOzen before the match, and he mentioned that Tom's version of Tempo Rogue he felt would be easier for him to beat because there is only a single copy of that Elven Minstrel.
Wow.
And here FrOzen, with a kind of an amusing play, smiting his own Cleric.
Right.
He decides, okay, well, this smite is less important than the possibility to find the more powerful cards in my deck.
Yes.
Decides to just cash it in for a card here.
Yeah, it's essentially just 1 mana draw card for FrOzen. He's okay with that because Holy Smite doesn't seem like it'll do much right now.
Tom has gone a bit wider here.
He's setting. It looks like he's setting up for a very powerful Cobalt Scalebane to have multiple targets. Not only is it a dragon and a lot of stats, but it'll set a minion's attack to 4, assuming all these 1/1 survive.
This also means that even if FrOzen attacks into one of these minions and heals up his Cleric, he will still have 3 points of power attacking the board between the 2 pirates and the weapon that he has set up.
It's true. He does have the flexibility of even playing Serenite Chang'e. But look at what FrOzen's been able to pick up. It's a Potion of Madness.
The Power Word Shield gets the Cleric out of range, and Potion of Madness can allow him to clear off both of these minions, which makes even a South Sea Captain draw for Tom not allow him to present any meaningful threat.
And now he's able to hold on to Circle of Healing in case he needs to use that for later. And again, emphasizing how important it is to be 1 card deeper into your deck. Because now, losing that Holy Smite doesn't seem that bad of an idea whatsoever.
Not at all. And Tom here, we see a little bit kind of exasperation perhaps crossed over his face. He has the ability to coin out either the Vilespine or the Cobalt Scalebane that he did keep. The Scalebane is very powerful against FrOzen's deck. There's only really the Shadow Word Death that can take it down easily. But Tom decides that he wants to ensure no more card draw for FrOzen. Perhaps a good decision since we see the Circle plus Wild Pyromancer waiting for FrOzen's hand, but it's Raza time.
Wow, the tempo Vilespine, or sorry, the Vilespine's tempo is not very good, but he has double Shadow Step, which makes Vilespine's ability to get crazy value very strong against Priest. But here's the thing, Tom's not really shoving that much damage. A lot of time when you're playing Vilespine in this position, you want to hit with a second minion, so you can pressure your opponent and continue to stack advantage on the board. That's a great move, but Tom doesn't have much to follow up.
Tom could have played Cobalt Scalebane that turn and attacked the face, which would have buffed his Vilespine up such that there was no trade option available to FrOzen. That could potentially run into a silence, but it could be a problem. But FrOzen here with Kazakis, Ichor of Undeath as a 1 here has to be kind of attractive since he does have Raza as well as Cleric in his pool, though the fact that he did Potion of Madness to Patches does add another small minion that could potentially be resurrected and not work out for him quite as well.
It is worth noting that that is why you want to take Patches if you are a priest with Potion of Madness, because if you do resurrect it, at least it's a 1 damage charge as opposed to a 1 damage do nothing. Or one mana minion that does nothing.
All right, well, Tom picks up a Bone Mare, but only 6 mana this turn. He does have some potential trades on either of these minions, and a number of options of how to spend the rest of his mana.
I gotta imagine the Pyromancer is very threatening.
How long can this go on? How long can this go on?
Yeah, I love these preemptive attacks.
Yeah, this is something we see a number of the players do over the course of Worlds this weekend. Gives them the ability to ensure that even if FrOzen heals it, it'll be down, if it attacks into something, it'll be down to 1 life. Ooh, Kazakus Potion time. With a Auctioneer, gonna draw quite a bit from FrOzen.
Oh my goodness!
Oh dear, he finds the Cleric. Draws 2 cards off the circle, 1 card off the Auctioneer. FrOzen is drawing yet another here with the Raza Hero Power. He's just drawing his deck.
That is the key for FrOzen to unlock his deck's potential, his card draw. And there was actually multiple options there, but given how the circumstances played out, and because FrOzen's able to keep that circle of healing by drawing with that Holy Smite, he now has opened up a world of possibilities.
FrOzen has 9 cards in his hand. Still has not found Shadow Reaper Anduin, but he has a wealth of options available to him. And frankly, Tom needs to deal with his board.
So many options.
The Auctioneer from FrOzen here has to die. There's no way Tom can possibly allow that to live and hope to win the game.
And the Auctioneer tech is paying off dividends. A lot of people choose Lyra the Sun Shard, but FrOzen even set up that path too. Remember, Kazakus often choose the 5 mana potion so you can draw 2 and a lot of value. But he took the 1 mana potion knowing that he has Gadget's Hand Auctioneer in the hand. He's going to go for a big swing.
This is the swing turn that Tom is looking for here.
Yes.
Develops a pretty big board, debating if he wants to add a quarter of 3 for 2 for 3. I think he's afraid of Anduin, afraid of Dragonfire Potion.
I would be. My opponent just drew 5 cards last turn.
Nether's Bed Historian could find a Duskbreaker here. These are all pretty attractive too.
Yeah, the Malygos is certainly interesting, but I think it's a little bit too much mana. And then a Dragonlord Operative is the most tempo and value.
And the Bookworm here, allowing him to take down the Vile Spine, just gives him the most immediate impact on the board.
That's true. You know, trying to limit your opponent's Bone Mirror opportunity is also pretty valuable.
Where does come down. FrOzen can clear the buff Chain Gang with his board if he chooses. He also has Silence, which will allow him to keep the Kazakus around. Just a lot of options.
FrOzen has draw opportunities here, either through his Novice or his Acolyte.
Looks like he's thinking about Acolyte plus Spirit Lash.
I wonder.
Spirit Lash allows him to clear the minion with his Kazakus, but then I'm wondering what he's going to do with his other remaining 4 mana. Possibly play the Twilight Drake at that moment.
It's the sort of hand where you just have so many possibilities that it's a lot to calculate. FrOzen been doing a lot of calculating all weekend.
He's seen that Tom's holding on to 1 card from the very beginning of the game for a long time. So I wonder what he's also reading. We've established that FrOzen is a big hand reader.
SI agent, so that can continue to help with his tempo plan.
I hope you like my invention.
Rope is burning though. FrOzen needs to figure out exactly how he's going to navigate the rest of his turn. And it will just be adding spin to the board and taking down the buff Chain Gang.
Yeah, Twilight Drake is the only dragon remaining, but FrOzen has a 4/12 on the board, and the Vile Spine already got double Shadow Step, so I think in FrOzen's mind, it's like, well, does he have another Vile Spine in his hand? Unlikely.
That he does, though.
Yeah, he's gonna get some bad news. This is a big swing turn here from Tom.
Yeah, that will absolutely pick apart FrOzen's board.
Right.
But thanks to all that card draw, FrOzen does have that Dragonfire Potion he just drew, so he will be able to clear this off quite easily.
Wow, very big difference of whether or not this Dragonfire Potion lands. FrOzen gonna hesitate. Don't immediately snap call if you don't have to. Think if you can even conserve your resources.
He does have even just Velen Spirit Lash if he wanted to go for that, but that wouldn't clear up everything, and it is just such a clean clear with the Dragonfire Potion. FrOzen can even go on offense with the SI
This
agent.
guy's toast.
And crucially, the more damage he can get onto Tom, the more he can reduce his life total before he even gets to the stage of the game where he plays Anduin, the less hero powers he has to do to burn him down.
Yeah, Tom is playing very conservative with his resources, trying to extend the length of this game.
Pirate's code.
Now he's starting to sense that FrOzen doesn't have the Anduin because he would have had multiple chances to do.
Only 8 cards left in the deck, and there's the Shadow Reaper.
The light has been
Right on time to take care of Bone Mare. The crowd loves it. And Tom does not. He concedes. FrOzen is up 2-0.
One more win is all that separates FrOzen and